Welcome. Let's tune in together first. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale, hold, and exhale. Inhale. Atgure Name, Jugat Gure Name, Sat Gure Name, Sri Gurudeve Name. Atgure Name, Jugat Gure Name, Sat Gure Name, Sri Gurudeve Name. Atgure Name, Jugat Gure Name, Sat Gure Name, Sri Gurudeve Name. Inhale and exhale, let's release. Keep your eyes closed, bring your hands to your knees. And let's just start off with a little meditation to ground. So at your own pace, inhaling and exhaling. With every exhale, feel yourself grounding into the earth. See if you can relax your face, your forehead, the top of your head. See if you can release your cheeks, your lips, your ears. See if you can relax your eyeballs, your shoulders, your arms, your fingertips. Relaxing your chest, your stomach, your legs, your feet, and everything grounding into the earth. Let's take a deep inhale together and slowly begin to open your eyes. Welcome to the Eclipse Workshop with myself, Rabindra, and Myra. And we're really excited to be here with you today. What an incredible month March has been, hasn't it been?
I mean, it's only, January, February, March, the third month of the year, and it's been explosive.
Yeah, so over here in Bali, we've had earthquakes, we've had cyclones, we've had floods, we've had trees falling. It's been a very, month that feels like definitely there's been 2 eclipses, and there's one coming up. Depending on the day that you're seeing this video, it's the Aries supermoon solar eclipse. So the first one that we had earlier this month was a lunar eclipse, and the lunar eclipse, when you deal with the lunar, we're dealing with the mind. So we got to eclipse a lot of the things going on in the subconscious mind space. And now with the solar eclipse, the solar deals with the soul, the sun, the heart, and our connection to the divine.
So it's almost like highlighting a magnifying glass on your authenticity and integrity. And also coalition and alignment with that which you think is sacred, or that which you have reverence for, right? Because that thing that we revere, we want to show up in good, right? We want to show up better every time. So it's really kind of bringing that microscopic layer to it.
Yeah, I think we all have, in sports, you have kind of a healthy respect for your opponent, when they're coming into the game. And I feel like a lot of us, especially in this community, we have a healthy respect for the eclipse that's coming and the impacts that it has. It does have a 6-month window, so the things that are going on for us right now, the themes that we're feeling and facing, you know what you're dealing with. And these are the themes that we can start to see what 2025 looks like. Mm-hmm. It's also a very exciting time because we can use this energy to manifest what we really want. It's a potent energy.
It's a new moon. It's leveraging the lunations, right? Mm-hmm. It's a lot of adhering to the alliances.
Mm-hmm. So we call this, at our home, we call it lunar programming, is when we work with the moon. And so typically our thoughts have a certain wattage, right? So I'm in my home right now, and not during the new moon or full moon, my typical wattage, say, is like 5. I'm getting my thoughts out, maybe just out here, but they're not reaching spirit. They're not reaching the divine. They're not reaching the collective, right? And that's the beauty of these eclipses and supermoons, is that this stuff, our thoughts become amplified. And especially when it comes from the heart space. Right now, anything we charge with our emotion and we really feel, we're going to get that 5,000 watt thought. Mm-hmm. So now we're going to be able to send these signals to the sun specifically.
It's like your matchstick stick, and it's like lighting up.
Yeah. And so this is all, very much like balancing, like me and Myra have been working on relationship courses, and we've been working on our own dynamics, and there's Father Sky and Mother Earth, and all these kind of masculine, feminine mm-hmm. qualities are being highlighted, and the one thing about it is that right now, okay, so we have the Earth, and then this moon is coming, so you have Earth, Moon, Sun, right? So the moon is going to eclipse in front of the sun, and in this way, so the sun is going to highlight through the moon all the things that we need to release in our mind space. What are those subconscious programs that we're ready to release? Those are all coming up for us right now.
And also being illuminated as well. Like, for example, I'm going to just share a little bit of a personal story. I always had this story about, like, my mom, right? That was not necessarily very favorable to her character. And then I had this story about my dad that was, like, very favorable to his character. But in actuality, during, our own personal practices and our, self-anointed teachings, I realized that actually, no, there's such a big block between that sacred masculine component. And so that for me has been brought to the table, which was something that I was kind of really not seeing or not putting any attention towards. I was so hell-bent, literally hell-bent, on healing this relationship with my mother. And that's, been healed. There's still more, right? Because the wound is always kind of, it always comes up in different layers, right? So, for the most part, I feel pretty healed on it. There's certain things that I would wish that she would kind of impart onto herself to self-empower her, right? But that's up to her. But in my point, it feels pretty healed. We talk all the time. It's nice. It's cozy, right? But the father component, that was lacking, and I couldn't see it because I had put this in front of it. And now that that's been, mending, now I can really look at that sacred masculine, right? That, father sky component, the all-encompassing father, right? Spirit. So it's been, for me, very confronting and very like, let's get to work, right? So don't be surprised that you're gonna be surprised by the things that are revealed, right? Be open to the unexpected.
Yeah, well, we have, it's in Aries, and Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is our planet of action. And then you have Aries that's quite bold, it's like very unapologetic, like I'm doing this, I'm going forward. But good news is these retrogrades, Mercury and Venus, are going to slow this kind of Mars kind of Aries drive forward just for a little bit, just enough time. It's kind of like the bow and arrow. It's just perfect for lunar programming, which is exactly what we're talking about here. Is we have a chance right now with the grounding of the new moon to use kind of like a bow, right? So what are the things that we want to manifest? We can put that into the bow. And as we aim for like this April 6th mark for kind of the release of these actions that Mars and Aries are going to give us, we have a really good chance of getting these 50,000 watt dots into spirit, 50,000 watt desires and all the things that we're really wanting to really push through. I know this first few months of the year have been challenging, coming from 2024, which was also quite challenging, but the promise of this spring, summer into fall this year it's actually much better, much brighter for all of us. But we had to kind of go through these first two eclipses to really get to the other side.
I mean, I would say that it'll start to look up. I mean, not to be doomsday, but we're in the thick of applying the tools that we've spent the last decade polishing. Right now, we have to take these tools out and actually like apply them. Right, so it is a pressurized time, and like I mentioned, I don't want to sound too doomsday, but we start to see the light of day again around 2029. So this is a time to really self-anoint and initiate and put the tools that we've gathered to action. Right? We're being given the opportunities to apply the techniques.
Yeah, and a very simple technique, knowing that this is a solar eclipse, is sitting in the sun and establishing a connection with the sun. Sit in the sun, and even if you're not in the sun, you can sit at home and meditate and pretend and feel the sun energy coming in.
Yeah, we have this whole thing about quantum leaping. Quantum leap the projection of those sun rays beaming. If you're in Europe, if you're in parts of the world where it's not quite sunny yet, or spring isn't really around the corner quite, so there's these new kind of streams of really projecting that reality into the 5D component.
So and to bring it back to Earth, to bring it to Earth, honestly, just sit in the sun, let it cleanse you, feel it cleansing you, let that communion give you the messages of the things that you need to release. And it's just nice to sit in the sun.
And you can also eat oranges. An interesting indicator is if you're sitting in the sun and it actually doesn't feel good, there's some things you need to deal with your liver. You probably need to do a fast and a cleanse. But if you sit in the sun and it feels good, it should feel good. It should feel nourishing sitting in the sun. Then really take it in, allow it to cleanse you. And this is a whole time. I mean, it's spring cleaning, and we're spring cleaning, and the eclipse is telling us to step bolder into our self-expression, right? And you can also leverage the solar flares during the sun feeding time, just because there is a big spark of energy that gets emitted, and we get to kind of put that into our own electromagnetic plasmic field and be able to generate that information and move it into creative action, right? Especially right now with these retrogrades, we're being asked to repose, right? And to just really take in that which is coming in, so that the initiative is to hopefully uplift others.
So dealing with the sun, our daughter's name is Soleil. And she literally lives her name. She is the bright star of her classroom. Every time we see her in her gymnastics and all these things, she is the sun. She's with the teacher all the time. The teachers love her.
She's sunshine.
Yeah. But this is just like that. It's a time to connect with purpose, passion. Imagine the sun being our highest connection to source. And this is a time when we can look at our past mistakes, and instead of beating ourselves up about them over and over again, we bring them into the present. So this is a chance when you're sitting in the sun, extract the lesson out of those past mistakes, bring them into the present, harmonize with the sun, cleanse them away, and be done with it. No more talking about them. Leave them behind.
Don't go digging through the garbage either.
Yes, let's take the garbage out and just leave it there, right?
Leave it there.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is that you'll get some insight, right? So you'll see the neuroses, you'll see the mistake, you'll see the conflict, you'll see the betrayal, whatever it is. And then through that, you'll see that co-emergent wisdom out of it, which Rabindra called the lesson. You'll see the part of it with either compassion or a mirror reflected back to you, or a sense of like, I actually want equanimity, I want justice for all and liberty for all. Or even then, so like there's a sense that we want to, again, be good and do good. So endless forgiveness and zero tolerance. Yeah? So you'll get the wisdom of it to be this co-emerging illumination.
And we're doing all this to get the garbage out of the way so that we can get into purpose and start expressing it. And we're in the dark of the year, and we're stepping into the light times of the year. And yeah, things you do now, think about like summer and fall, like we will be harvesting. So start doing things now that you can harvest by fall, right? Plant those intentions now. Start those projects, move them forward, be bold like Aries, right? And really by fall, you should be really doing well. You should be flying. We have just enough time to really put in the work right now, right? And things have been intense. And kudos to you for showing up to this class. Even for us, like even just making it here,
I mean, this Mercury retrograde, man. Like just molasses.
Yeah, it slows you down. It takes you a few steps back, but it's also good so that like...
It is. We say, don't let them slow you down. You just get motivated.
Yeah.
By them, right? By them, I mean, the star codes.
And it's teaching us that, being in alignment isn't always pretty. We always talk about alignment. But it's not pretty sometimes. Sometimes alignment looks like, not going to that friend's place that you normally go, or these normal places you go. Alignment sometimes means you're staying home and meditating and writing and getting all this stuff out, doing your work yourself. Sometimes at first it's lonely.
Yeah.
But these are the times when we do that work, right? And then once you've done and cleaned it, then go to community, celebrate. It's also a time of celebration.
Yeah, this is a community kind of initiative as well. Like it is like amplify the heart space and let it kind of ripple out and touch your environment, touch your people.
And this is a time, new moons are about manifestation. The eclipse is coming. It's a very interesting dichotomy where you have this eclipse. It's taking out a lot of things, so a lot of attention is on that. But at the same time, what are we clearing space for? Let's manifest those things, right? What are so me and Myra, we do the scripting practice where we write down 5 things that you feel feasible for you. So we write down, we say, "Dear God," or whoever is your highest source. "Dear Sun." This would be a perfect time to write a note to the sun, for example. And you write a thank you letter with 5 points. And each of those points is like, I have now made more revenue this month than ever before. Or I now live in a beautiful home in Silver Lake, or whatever the things are that are the 5 main things that feel feasible, that you want to make action on. Write those things down, review them in the morning, review them at night, have your mantras playing, and it's a really good time to focus on what you want to manifest. And looking forward, the key things to do during this time is to be intentional. We have herbs that support, like lavender, ashwagandha, lemongrass, GABA tea is really good. all these things that kind of calm you down. Because if you find your mind scattering, this is where we go to the herbs, this is where we go to the meditations, this is where we go to the things.
I mean, even just a simple practice of just taking some orange peels and boil them over hot water and throwing a couple lemon peels and cinnamon sticks.
Yeah, aromatherapy.
And then that just creates a nice, grounding, aromatic, essential sensation.
And that this is also, being a new moon, it's a good time to learn. So Myra's in a book club right now, and what is the book you guys are doing?
How We Live is How We Die.
By Pema Chodron, right?
Yeah, Pema Chodron. She's a monk now, I think, and an author of Zen and Zen Buddhist and actually Tibetan Zen teachings. And it's been really illuminating. I mean, it's a short read, but it's so dense. Every chapter is so dense that it's actually taken us longer than, say, our last book, which is Braiding Sweetgrass. But a lot of different Tibetan mystery techniques that are being discussed.
Amazing. So the next step, journaling during this next week is very good. So again, go back to those few past mistakes that maybe keep coming up for you. Can you bring them into the present? Can you decharge the emotionality of them? Learn the lesson. Let the sun know that you've learned the lesson and you're done with it and you're ready to move on. You'll see how quickly things start to move when you do that. So just let go of that and then manifest. Do your scripting letter, visualize, do your Subha Kriya, speak things out, affirmations, all the things you do, and also just getting super clear on those things really help.
And because it's a big, letting go and rebirth, it's synonymous to purification, right? You're purifying the self, you're emptying the self, giving yourself a clean slate to be able to move into this new beginning energy, which is what new moons are all about, right? It's planting new seeds, right? Planting new prayers, planting new intentions.
Yeah, so with that, like for example, we spoke about lunar programming. Just like that, we want to program. So you go to all your crystals in your home and reprogram them for this next cycle. I did that with my son the other day. He brought a crystal to me. I'm like, okay, let's program it. What do you want in it? And then we did it and we put it in the corner. So you want to put the crystals in the corners of your homes. You want to have like all the herbs out at your doorways, all those kinds of things are amazing to do at this moment.
But also what is not being used, put it away. Put it away in your sacred, treasure chest. So it's not, the battlefield isn't full kind of thing. Yeah. So everything that you're utilizing, let it be intentional. Let it have purpose. Let it play a part in the theme of your life.
Yeah, I think, what you're speaking to there is just have a clear message for spirit. Quite often we have so many things on the table that
it's hard to read.
Spirit doesn't even know what to do. So that's why we say, hone it in, 2-3 things, maximum 5. This is the direction we're going. Put it in your crystals, put it in your home, put it in your mind. And you want to do 100 zillion things in this lifetime, but let's focus on the 4 or 5 things during this eclipse. Set the stage for the next 6 months.
Yeah, and carry that. Walk in that beauty for the next 6 months up until September, when we revisit the similar energies again. Yeah. So there's something so beautiful about living in an island that the baseline is animism, and I mean, they look at these cycles, which is the eclipse cycles, every 6 months, and there's always a big procession of purification. From wherever the village is, they'll walk to the sea and have offerings and have pujas and have, a full celebration of walking, making this pilgrimage. And it's part of a purification. It's part of resetting. And in Bali, the new moon or the new year is on the new moon. So it's their new year is, what is it, tomorrow?
It's right now.
It's right now. So
this is astrological new year as well.
So it's also kind of this purified understanding that all these things that we're witnessing more so and that are coming a little bit more into the light that, yeah, maybe a little bit abstract, maybe a little bit more divination arts, however you relate to it, there's something that weighs heavy about them. And once we look at them and understand them and apply them and walk in that beauty and in that grace, we then become a collaborator of the mystery of reality, the mystery of how we move forward as a species, right? As a human being, as a being human, right? As a being that is human.
Lovely. Okay, well, we'll finish that. Do you want to talk about the set at all?
We'll just do a warm-up, and we'll end with a meditation that I'm sure many of you have done before. It's a very popular one, but it's prosperity, fulfillment, and success, circling your psyche, so that you're in this kind of abundant mindset, right? You're clearing everything, you're purging it all, and you're resetting to be in prosperity, pro-spirit alignment. Yeah?
All right, Satnam.